Did you guys know that Pedro Pascal is saying some offensive things to fans before the release of Fantastic Four? It's a Disney disaster. In case you're unaware, we're going to find out now because Mike Zeroh is back once again, and he is back a lot of times. He uploads so many times, reporting on supposed things and the controversy and all this stuff because it gets clicks and views on YouTube. Now, I'll be honest, I was inspired by two things. Number one, Eric's Reloaded. He has a second channel called Eric Debunks, where he debunks a lot of nonsense like this. And the second thing was years ago, 2 Cents on Nonsense was a live stream by Poindexter Lounge, and they exclusively, for the most part, featured Mike Zeroh. And I wanted to watch a little bit of this. I want to see what is he saying, because Mike Zeroh went from just lying and making up crap about Star Wars for years, and now he's focusing on pretty much everything else, whether it's Disney related, Hollywood stuff. He's really focusing a lot on Robert De Niro for some reason, like a lot of Robert De Niro stuff. I'm not sure why, but anyways, I'm probably not going to watch the whole video because it's 9 minutes long. He's figured out the algorithm. We're just going to dive in a little bit and see what he says here because I want to hear what kind of nonsense he is spewing here. Let's get to him, Mike. Let's see what you got, buddy.
With the Fantastic Four set to release on July 25th, we already know that the press tour is pretty much abysmal at this point based on what Pedro Pascal has been doing and turning it into a political thing and really dragging his politics, his overall agenda into the overall press tour and how that backfired and how he really did force that onto the general public. And
okay, so the entire press tour has been abysmal because of Pedro. Now, Pedro has said some stuff that people are responding to in terms of, certain political stuff, and he's being asked certain questions, and that's going to happen every press tour. Every press tour, there's questions asked that is not a part of the thing that they're there to promote. That happens all the time. Now, in terms of this, I like how he's spinning the narrative that the entire thing is abysmal because Pedro Pascal, he's forcing his political stuff and beliefs onto fans. He's not forcing anything. He's just speaking his opinion on things. That's what Pedro's doing. I don't understand this whole narrative that, he's forcing fans to hear this. And
Disney's not having it at this point. We know that Disney is very frantic over the success of the Fantastic Four, whether or not it's going to be a success or a failure. It's leaving them very much on edge. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that the multiple clips that they've been putting out there, the trailers, the teasers for a Fantastic Four movie, all right, for a movie that really has to do extremely well at the box office. So far, there's a lot of people that have been voicing their opinions that the marketing just isn't quite there yet.
The marketing isn't quite there yet. Okay. How so? Like, sure, there is bad marketing, but they've marketed this film quite a bit. It's coming out next week. So I'm not sure what it means by bad marketing. It's all subjective, but I'm trying to understand why he's saying specifically the TV spots, the trailers, the clips. It's all been pretty bad. I mean, if that's your opinion, cool. But where is he getting the statistics saying that a lot of people are thinking the same thing? Like, I want to know where he's getting that from.
Comes to their level of excitement. This is Mike Zeroh. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike Zeroh 1. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support.
Oh, I bet.
Now, just recently, Pedro Pascal made things all worse, all right? He made things worse than anyone could have even imagined. And this, once again, has a lot to do with politics, has a lot to do with him pulling a Rachel Zegler, turning into Rachel Zegler, essentially, and kind of doing what James Gunn did before the release of Superman Brief.
Why is that picture such a bad quality? Mike, why is this picture so bad? Like, even that picture isn't great either. Like, the quality of it is so bad. Mike, what are you doing?
Superman briefly when he did that, of course, just a number of days ago. But what's interesting here has a lot to do with Pedro doing something that Disney obviously does not want Pedro to do. So let's jump into this. Now,
okay, we're jumping in now to it in a minute and 45 seconds in. We're finally jumping into what happened. Because it's offensive things, right? It's offensive. We have to wait till a minute 45 to get into it. And are we actually going to get into it, Mike, or are we going to keep stalling? Because you got 9 minutes here. Let's see.
Interestingly enough, we already know that the Fantastic Four, they are beginning to actually show a lot of clips at this point, and it's reeking of desperation, right? We already know that people are pointing this out, that they felt like they've seen the entire movie already.
Oh, my God. Okay. I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say this is a part of just Mike just making up crap, because to say that a major Hollywood blockbuster film is putting out a lot of clips now, putting out a lot of things before the release of the movie next week, it's desperation. Marvel has done this for years before the shutdown in 2020. A lot of major studios. You know how many clips they put out of Superman before it released? Like right to the release the week of? Same thing happened there. Where's the narrative that it was desperate in the marketing to start putting out a lot of clips for Superman? Were they saying the same thing about Captain America Brave New World earlier this year? Probably. But that's the way to spin the narrative, to keep with his version of events, his version of how things are actually going, by stating, oh my God, the movie's coming out next week. It's so desperate to put out TV spots and clips. It's so desperate. It's the biggest marketing push. The film comes out next week. Of course they're going to push it out. Of course they're going to push stuff out because it's coming out next week. Okay, Mike. We still haven't got to what he's talking about with Pedro and whatever. Well, I'm still
with the exception of Galactus not really showing up all that much. There's a lot of clips out there.
Because they're hiding Galactus in the marketing. Like, they're showing him, but they're not trying to show too much of him because they want you to watch. Okay, Mike, whatever.
Now, with Pedro Pascal making some of the worst decisions during the press tour for Fantastic Four, one major development going on now involves how he yet again attacked fans and said some of the most offensive things yet toward Marvel fans that is already creating a division ahead of the release on July 25th.
Okay. Thank you for marketing the movie, by the way. We're telling when it releases. We're 2 minutes in, almost 2.5 minutes. We still have not heard what did he say.
Pedro delivered the following. Sadly, we now live in an era where failure is celebrated, and I'm seeing lots of this online by those coming from right-wing lunatics that want to go as far to say that the Fantastic Four has to make a certain amount of money to break even or to be even successful. These losers just have no idea what they are talking about, and as far as I'm concerned, they are not Marvel fans, and this is nothing more than a political landscape coming from them that they are trying to sculpt for their benefit. If you are part of that political structure that you are trying to use to sabotage the success of the Fantastic Four, then I don't want your business. I don't want your business, period. And you should just stay home and act like financial experts. We are now living in a culture where the audience automatically assumes that a film has to hit a specific target margin to break even at the box office, when in reality they know nothing about that period. A film does not need to break even to be successful. Only the story needs to be successful, and that's all you really need at the end of the day.
I'm not sure there's any more in this, but I let that go for quite a bit longer. If this is his actual quote, he could have worded it differently, but he is technically not wrong in a sense, because I'm pretty sure what the question was, and here's the best part. He's not telling you what the question was of why Pedro, because what's the question for Pedro to respond this way? What was the question? Right? And he's not going to give it here because that doesn't fit his narrative, because he doesn't want to say, oh, Pedro just said this. He was asked a question and he responded. Now, sure, like I said, he could have worded it differently. However, with what he said there, most of it is accurate. There are people that are just trying every which way to say this movie is going to fail and bomb. And everyone is for some reason, everyone is so keen on knowing exactly the break-even amount for a box office. Now, it is important if you want to know if a movie is successful box office wise. That is not talking about the quality of the movie. It's talking about just the actual numbers. Like, are people supporting it with their dollar? Are people supporting it with their ticket? That's the question. And he's saying that there are people that are just going out of the way, finding every which way to make this movie look it's going to fail. And they're pointing out all the box office nonsense and everything. I guess it's offensive because he's telling people to stay home if they're looking to not really care about the film, or they're caring about the freaking numbers and stuff. And he's talking about people that are literally just sitting home and just attacking people and just hating everything. He's not talking to actual fans that are maybe interested in the movie. He's talking about the people that literally go out of their way and just shit on everything. And they're basically trying to push this film down, saying it's going to earn this amount of money. And if it does, how many people have tweeted since Superman has released that it's a flop, right? because it didn't hit like 200 million opening weekend, right? The automatic response for a number of people is flop, super flop. And they're going to say the same thing about Fantastic Four. If it comes out and it doesn't make 150, 175, 200 million opening weekend for domestic, they're going to say fantastic flop. I'm not wrong. You see it online. It's there. We'll listen to a little bit more. I'm not going to listen to this whole thing. This is just frustrating.
Anyone else falling for this narrative that we need to break even at a specific box office margin, then I don't think people are really, of course, falling for that. And I think people that are also fools for buying into that. It's all obviously coming from the right-wing people that don't know how to deal with the facts that our film is going to be a success, and we have many surprises coming from Marvel, since, of course, we decided to make a bold move by shifting away from source material. I think we...
Okay, where is this coming from? I want to know if he actually said this. Now, here's the thing. Mike Zeroh has been known in the past, and I'm not saying this quote doesn't exist. What I'm saying is Mike Zeroh in the past has lied. He has taken imaginary quotes in the past when he was talking about Jon Favreau specifically in Star Wars, Kathleen Kennedy, all of that drama years ago. He would make so many videos about that. He would make up fake responses that Jon Favreau would have in interviews that you can never find anywhere because they don't exist. He would make up fake responses from Jon Favreau or fake things from Dave Filoni or something, or an insider from Disney that there's no way to source, like how the hell, like who you're talking about, who said it, right? And he would make up stuff. So if Pedro Pascal actually said this, I want to see where he said this, because I've not heard of this at all until just now in this video by Mike Zeroh. And it's still going.
More actors like myself that represent the film industry and pieces of art like the Fantastic Four. We need more activists in this industry. We need more male feminists to protect studios like Disney and all the great things that they are doing over there at Marvel Studios right now. It's beyond obvious that any criticism going against the Fantastic Four right now is just coming from right-wingers that have nothing left for themselves. They really have no credibility left after what Trump said about the Epstein files. I mean, did you all see that nonsense and how his supporters are now scrambling because they don't know what to do anymore? It's pathetic. Now, guys, let me just stop right there. Now,
yeah, stop. Where is this coming from? If someone could link me this, I would like to see it, because I'm not sitting here saying it, and it was not said by Pedro, but I've not heard this. I have no clue where this is coming from. And I'm also wondering if this was actually said by Pedro. Is it word for word, or is he embellishing certain things? Because this took a left turn completely into talking about Epstein files and all that. Like, what?
Pedro Pascal is losing his mind, all right? We all know that, yes, the Fantastic Four, it does need a specific target margin to actually become a success at the box office. That is the ultimate truth, right?
It is the truth. Okay, but here's the thing. Also, like, okay, I'm not, like, you could see, like, he didn't fully expand the picture on the screen, and once again, it's a really bad quality image. I think that's the whole gist of it. He puts out bad quality images on his videos. Anyways, losing his mind. Okay, and yes, it has to hit a certain margin at the box office. It does. But here's the fun fact about all of this. The cast, including Pedro Pascal, has already been paid for this movie. They've already been paid. So no matter how much money the box office makes, it don't matter. They've already been paid. They've already got their money. And they're already going to be in the next two Avengers films. So I'm not sitting here saying it's a guaranteed hit, because it isn't. But I don't know. I don't know how I feel, but this is just strange.
That's basically just common knowledge. That's common sense. That's just basic knowledge out there.
Yeah.
And we saw James Gunn pull this off, some days ago. That, yeah, it doesn't have to hit this specific, margin to become a success at all.
Yeah.
And Pedro is basically pulling a Rachel Zegler and is also doing something that James Gunn did combined.
He loves flipping the Rachel Zegler card. I think we're just going to stop it at this. Like, I don't see where else we can really take this, because I can't sit here and just keep listening to him talk, because what I really find fascinating in any video you watch Mike Zeroh, he never gives you the source where it comes from. He never tells you where this interview is coming from, where he said this. And I'm not saying he did or did not say it, But based on the track record of Mike Zeroh, I don't think he said it. But if he did say this, if Pedro did say this, is it embellished? Is it word for word? What's the context of what he's exactly saying here? Because if he's embellishing certain things or adding certain things to this response to whatever question was asked, because once again, we're not told what he was asked. We're just going to spin the narrative. And of course, he has to throw in Rachel Zegler, because that was one of the biggest things that was a success for Mike Zeroh, was shitting and attacking Rachel Zegler. I'm not saying that Rachel Zegler is innocent in anything that she was saying. There's a lot of stuff that was being said. It's like, okay, Rachel, but he has to throw that thing, because that's a buzzword. Rachel Zegler is a buzzword at this point in terms of showing comparison. So yeah, so Mike Zeroh, he just loves to just spin his narrative. That's what gets him the money. But yeah, it's just not worth continuing, honestly. Like because I know he just rambles on in all of his videos, and just yeah, I just don't have any reason to keep listening to him talk. I really don't. Yeah, I kind of regret doing this.